find the, I think we're live. Let's take a look. Possibly. There's a little bit of a delay in the live stream. That's okay. I've got the only thing I haven't done is record. You want to hit the record button?
Yeah, we are.
I've already got us live and recording.
Oh, we are, okay.
We're live. Mics are on. Everything is live. He emailed, said he would be here, so.
How are you, Sheriff? Good, man. Good to see you, sir. Doing all right? Brent?
Yeah, I'm David Goff. Nice to meet you. I'm the Derek Plant. Okay. It's good to meet you.
Thanks for coming aboard.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
I think that's.
It's gone.
It's going. It's taken care of. So that's a great job.
I have no clue what the guest Wi-Fi password is, but there should be. I should ask, but it's never come up since I've been here, so. I'll find out for next time. And how do you say your last name?
Hodgson.
Nice. Okay. And just for all of us to know, John Swisher is no longer on the commission. Mr. Hodgson has replaced him as our engineer.
$10 at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kick us off. We have a quorum, so there's only 5 members and there's 4 of us here, so.
I don't have John's number. I called him. I thought I had it.
I think David's got the gavel. He'll.
Hey,
There he is.
There he is. Now we're ready.
can't get here when you're supposed to. Get here when you can. You could have said, well, at least you showed up today. We're ready when you are,
Sorry.
Mr. President.
Have you called it to order?
No, sir.
All right. Call the meeting for February 2nd, 2023 to order. Roll call.
Mr. Smoot,
Here.
Mr. Cole,
Here.
Sheriff,
Here?
Mr. King, Mr. Hodgson.
Here.
And just so everyone is aware, Mr. Swisher is no longer on the commission. He is being replaced as our engineer. Have a new.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Thank you, sir.
We have a quorum.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of December 1, 2022?
Makes a motion to accept the meeting, the minutes are posted.
Is there a second? Questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Opposed, like sign. Ayes have it. Citizen concerns? None? All right, unfinished business. Case 2022-56.
So I've provided you with a printed off version of the PowerPoint. I thought that would be a little easier than using the tablets. First, at the bottom, you'll see 3028 Eaton Lane. This is one that has been around for a while. It's an elderly couple. They have put forth effort over the past few months to slowly but surely remove and clean up some of the debris. The first few pictures you'll see are pictures of the debris. The last few photos that are related to that, which specifically is, I'm trying to find the exact photos for you that we have here. Those show what has been cleaned up and removed. So my recommendation for this is a dismissal.
I agree. I think it's the mission of this body to have people make corrective actions, and they've done that. They've shown good faith.
Yeah.
So I make a motion, we dismiss this case.
Is there a second? Any further comments or questions? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next.
All right, second one, 2049 Riders Creek Road, Hurricane, West Virginia. Again, this one has been lingering around for a minute. There was some confusion and challenges getting the owner served. Long story short, the owner died, so I went the avenue of who paid the taxes last, right? Which trickled down from one person to another person to eventually me landing on Nathan Cantrell, who has now officially sent me the signature card. So in complete transparency, Larry, I don't know how we usually handle this. I do not have a deed that reflects Nathan as the true owner. I was able to track Nathan down as the true owner by, taxes, and eventually landed on him as paying the taxes and that stuff. I don't know how we would find that deed, if that is a requirement for us to proceed. But for what it's worth, I do have a signature card from Nathan, so he is aware that if he is the owner, which according to people that paid the taxes and all that stuff.
Larry, that, since the owner is deceased, that could still be in probate, am I correct?
Well, if we know that's the owner, then it may not be by deed, it may have been by will.
Right.
Or maybe that's the reason you can't find a deed. It could be,
I don't know.
you got it through a will.
I just want to make sure I'm transparent. If the question comes up, how do you know he's the owner?
Well, you don't know that he's the owner.
I've just tracked it down through who paid the taxes last and who's going to take responsibility for that. And it landed on Nathan Cottrell, and he signed.
Correct me if I'm wrong, paying the taxes does not make you responsible for the property. But it's a good start.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can reach back out to you. I can pay your taxes, doesn't make me
Yeah.
the owner of your land. But he can be, he's a point of communication. So with that being said, I'll make a motion that we move forward. We just,
Okay. I would like to get at least some sort of recommendation from you guys, and Larry and I, if we need to, after the meeting, in between now and county commission, can work to find documented proof that he's the true owner. I would like to get some sort of recommendation as to what you would like to see happen to the property in the event that we can confirm the ownership.
if and when you discover a true owner of this property, the recommendation is to remove the mobile homes and clean the property.
Okay.
But that could be a long process. Finding the true owner of a piece of property like, and I know this could be very involved in my tax part, is difficult. But you may want to go to Ms. Reichman and see if that's actually in probate. See if there's a will, see if something's there. That may send you a definite owner, whether it be through deed or will.
Yeah. Well, I've got some notes here, Larry. This is more your language that I wrote down from a representative of a business that had a lien filed against this property. They were, through whatever means, they had tracked down the true owner. And so, since they had a lien on the property, and since I knew these people, I called on, and based off their recommendation, they pointed me in the direction of this Nathan Cottrell, and then eventually Nathan actually signed as the owner. So I'm highly confident, based off what the work they've done, that we do have the right owner. And I've got the pathway, the steps that they pointed me down on notes that I will get with Larry, and we'll kind of track the same path that this business did to land on Nathan. And I think what they did is correct.
And you think Nathan has been informed of what the county,
I mean, I know he has. He signed for it. I sent him the letter. I sent him all the photos, and he's sent me the certified letter signature card back. So he knows the date of the meeting. He's got photos of the trailer. Short of just talking to him on a cell phone, he's been as notified as anybody else. So that's what I have on this. And I've heard you make a motion, or I guess you recommended removing the trailer. But I would need official action from you guys as in the form of a motion to, once I find confirmation that he is the true owner.
Just to verify, the sheriff's motion was for staff to continue moving forward with proof of ownership. Once that is obtained, removal of the mobile home and repair of the property. Is that correct?
correct?
I would also ask that sometimes people just like demo the trailer, but they don't remove the debris. So if you could confirm that you want all of the debris removed, that would be nice as well.
Remove the trailer and
Can you state, just to return it back to its natural state? It looks like it's in a natural setting.
and we can stay whatever. I just want to make sure they don't knock the trailer down.
And
Think
leave
they've
the
com-
frame.
They've complied with the order. I want them to make it, knock it down and make it nice again, remove everything. If you're gonna knock a trailer down, take the debris away. Don't just leave it piled up.
Remove the man-made objects.
Awesome. Because we're gonna get to our next one is going to be one where,
I'll second that.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 2022-67.
all right, 2022-67, Birdie Court, West Virginia. This is one that, again, has been lingering around for a few months now. I feel like I've talked to the owner a couple of times. I've been as lenient as I think I can be. We're getting complaints, we've received complaints, and we've given this owner several months to finalize everything. And in his defense, he has made significant progress. But we've hit a point now, I guess over the last month at least, where no progress has been made. There's still a trailer frame sitting on one of the parcels. And so while I'm grateful that he's cleaned up a significant amount of it, he's not fully completed what I feel like would be a full cleanup. I think this, you've been out there, Nick, a few times as well. Yeah, and so I would love to get an order finalized requiring him to finish this within 30 days. I think we've been extremely lenient with him, and I think he has the means to do it.
Is there a motion for that?
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 2023-68.
New business, this is, the address is 61 4th Avenue South, hometown, West Virginia. The owner is NAJ LLC, and I have a signature card from them. So we are good to proceed with this new DAEA case. Yesterday, I believe it was, maybe the day before, I received a letter from the ownership, the company, NAJ LLC, and I will just read you the letter so it's on record. Please be advised that NAJ LLC has placed a work order to clean up the trash and refuse debris and overgrown vegetation at the above listed address. The structure located on the premise will be boarded up and a no trespassing sign will be posted. Please allow us 10 days to complete these tasks. NAJ LLC will then evaluate the repairs needed on the premise. So I got a letter I think it was a couple days ago in the mail. They're aware of the situation, they've signed off on the signature card, and they're asking us for just a temporary delay to allow them to secure the structure and do an assessment. I think that's reasonable, and I think we should be able to accommodate to that. I've given other people a month or two to address issues. I have no reason to feel like these guys won't do what they've said they're going to do. So I would ask for this to just be tabled until next meeting. It's NAJ. NAJ LLC is the name.
Are they out of Charleston?
Yes, they are out of Charleston. Yes.
That's a tax. They buy tax property.
Oh, okay. Well, they've asked 10 days. They've sent in writing that they're going to secure the property and address the issues. So since they're willing to take those steps, the least I can do is at least table this till next month.
You're right. I make a motion, we table that till the next meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 2023-01.
Jonathan took, I'll lead you off on this one, my friend.
Okay.
I made this complaint on this property for a resident that lives down there. These people here, they're a constant issue for the sheriff's department. The trailer and the area that you can see here. And one way that we can deal with these people on the law enforcement side is to use the DAEA board and the commission to make these people clean up. I think we'll be running into some serious issues, but moving forward with it will help the people that live there or live adjacent to this and also in law enforcement. So with that being said.
So I will tell you what I've learned since then. So Robin Rawlings was listed as the owner. And there were 2 points of contact, 2 addresses that were listed on the tax assessment stuff. So I was like, why not just shoot for both so I can cover my tail, right? So I sent a certified letter to the P.O. Box as well as to 70 Fruth Edition Road, which is the actual address. For whatever reason, the post office sent me back the one and said they could not deliver it to the 70 Fruth Edition Road. So the signature card, obviously, for that attempt was not signed. The one for the P.O. Box is still out. So this general statement is I don't have a signature card back from the owner. However, I have spoke with the owner over the office phone. She is a post office worker who lives in and works, or who works in the Eleanor post office. She works typically 6 days a week. And she doesn't live there. Her daughter lives there. She is well aware of the situation. And even though I have not received a signature card back, I have contacted, obviously, this lady at the post office, and we've had a conversation. She is trying to get this cleaned up. I asked her to submit something in writing. I have not received anything in writing yet. But again, if I've talked to the owner and they sounded sincere, and she sounds like she's going to make an attempt to get this cleaned up, the least I can do is give her the month of February to do so. So this is on our agenda, this is on our radar, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, even though I haven't received it in writing. She says she's working on it, and since she is busy and she's going to make a real attempt to get this done, I want to give her the month of February to do so. So I want to table it.
I make a motion, we table for 30 days, or till the next meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any,
Jonathan, with this one, if you're in contact with her again, we won't do another 30 days. If she doesn't show significant progress,
Okay.
it's our responsibility to make sure.
is that where she lives?
That's where.
That's her daughter.
Daughter and her,
But lives in that mobile home?
well, they'll bounce between these places. Yeah. But you may convey to her that the sheriff says we're not going, if we don't see significant improvement.
And I told her that.
We'll move forward.
I told her, I have a soft heart for people in situations like this. And I told her I would speak, and I tell every owner, I will speak on your behalf one time. But if I step and stick my neck out on your behalf, then the expectation is that you will make progress.
Okay.
And I told her if she doesn't, I'm not covering for her the next meeting.
Thank
And
you.
she's aware of that. And so the expectation on my part is she's going to stand by her word and she's going to make improvement. I don't know what that'll look like. She told me she was getting a dump truck or a U-Haul truck to take stuff out to the dump, which sounds like significant progress could be made, but we shall see. But the least I can do is give her a month to do the work. So,
Rich Greenhouse. All nice places.
yes, yes. That's the entire property on that. So did y'all make a motion? And
Yeah, Nick had questions, so that's all.
oh, okay, yeah. So all of it's on the same parcel. It's all on the same property. Oh, no, it's not. Well, I mean, it looks like one, but it's just it's a house with a bunch of camping trailers and a mobile home on it. Ideally, it'll look significantly different next time we go back out, but we shall see. And honestly, and I tell people this all the time, it's not illegal for a person to own a camper, right? It's not illegal for you to park it at your house. Where we become involved is if a structure is structurally unsafe, if it's unsecure, if it's, a place for drug activity or people are squatting in it.
Can't live in it either.
You can't live in it, yeah.
Permitted
That's
to
another thing.
inhabit.
And burn piles are an issue, so,
Matter of fact, by county code, if you are going to camp in it, you're supposed to have a camping permit.
so I mean, there are definitely some issues with this. I'm not saying there's not issues, but there is a scenario where she cleans up everything and she can still keep her camper. That scenario does exist. So,
Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Staff report?
all right, I'm going to, David, feel free to interrupt me on these if you would like, because I'm just introducing these kind of just to get people's opinions. I didn't know if David was going to even bring these up. There's two parcels that we have received complaints about. If you go over the bridge toward Red House, there's a burned out house, and then just down on the right, there's another house that's been demoed, but the debris is just all piled up, right? The house that's the burnout, I don't have the file on it in front of me because it's with the state, so it's going to be auctioned off. So if you get complaints or anybody asking about a house that's burned in Red House, and it's just standing there across the river, and they're wondering, why are we just staring at it? The reason we're staring at it is because there is no owner to notify. Once it's auctioned off at the state, if it's auctioned off at the state and somebody buys it, at that point, then I have somebody to serve notice to, and then we can address it. The one down the street that is a burn pile, or not a burn pile, but
The old church.
It's a church.
it was something, it's just a debris pile now. I am trying to follow up. Let me see if I've actually got, I shot this guy an email. Prior to COVID, the plan was, based off what I was reading between correspondence between him and Tina, was he was going to remove everything, right? Clean everything up, and that was the plan. Then COVID happened, and, a whole bunch of other stuff happened apparently. And that plan has obviously stalled. So I've emailed this gentleman to see if there's any updates. I have not heard back from him.
He
But-
called me probably December,
Yeah,
probably December. And if you've been by there, you'll see that he has put some debris in trash bags.
okay.
You see, have you been by there?
Not like super.
You see where the trash bags are sitting there? Well, that's not it. That's not gonna cut.
No.
He called me and asked for more time, and I said, I don't have the authority to give you more time.
Yeah.
You need to bring a plan of action to the DAEA board.
Yeah,
And obviously, he hasn't done that. He lives adjacent to that.
oh,
He does?
didn't know that.
He lives right there, where the church is over the hill?
Yeah.
That's right there.
That church was in danger of falling into Route 62. Now, but wasn't there a steeple on that? There was something that was leaning real close to the road, and I believe they did do something with that, but they haven't done anything to that building.
My primary concern with this situation is what is now going on with the house that burned and it's still standing. Owners understand that if action isn't taken and they don't pay the taxes, then the property goes to the state to be auctioned off. And up to this point, he has not done that. And I highly doubt if he, as opposed to dealing with this, it would not surprise me if he just doesn't pay the taxes and lets it go to the state. And then at that point,
Well, and I
we won't
think,
be able to notify the owner.
and then the liability comes. could potentially come to the county.
It's,
And
yeah.
that's what I thought about that Riders Creek thing too, that, you know, people will just not pay attention and I don't want the liability to go back to the county.
So,
The new change in the law, the tax law, which is this year's new law, was things go to the state now. We don't do this, we don't do the auction, the auditor's auction often does. So
Yeah.
we've been taken out of that loop with the plan that at some point the county can come back in and buy this property. Now, that property in question there, the county wouldn't go buy that property because it doesn't show, it has no valuable assets for the county, so we wouldn't. So it falls back to the county, and I tried to tell the auditor this when they passed this law, that we still, the county will still, one way or the other, at the end of the day, we will be liable for that property because of, it's our citizens. If it falls out the road, we got to deal with it. You know, the state's not going to deal with it because they're going to say it's sitting on vacant property. Correct, Larry? So at some point, we're going to have some money to say, tear that place down.
Could a right of way of the state be applied to that church? Because it looks to me like that, and surely they wouldn't have built a church on a state right of way, but that,
That church was built.
okay, all right.
That church was built when that road was gravel.
well, just to finish my point,
Yeah,
if we as a body want to take action against the owner that we know of now, there is no other time to do it but March. Otherwise, it will be delinquent by the time April comes around, and at that point, it's at the state level. So if we want to take action, I'll have something ready on the agenda for March, and then I can get it to county commission at the second Tuesday of March, whatever that is, and we can get an order filed against him to get it cleaned up. But that's what I can.
Larry, do we have exposure?
We have what?
Exposure? Does the county have exposure to that property in the current state and us knowing about it and us initiating action? And do we have any liability there?
I wouldn't think at this point.
Okay. All right.
Because, and my understanding is that it was like the steeple of the church was what was going over the road. That has been taken down. So there's no danger
Immediate.
anymore of that collapsing onto the Tate Road.
Okay.
And
All right.
and the county's not the owner of the property at this point.
What's your suggestion? What's your,
You want to move this to the April meeting, is that what you're at?
No, so best case scenario, if we can do anything, people have been complaining about it, long story short. Best case scenario, since I have not been able to get a signature card back from this owner, let's say I get one back within a reasonable time frame. Best case scenario, I can put this on the March agenda and we can have an order through county commission by the second Tuesday of March.
and if,
If we don't do that, then we have no more options because he will let the property go delinquent and then it will, in March, be sent to the state for delinquent taxes.
and if, even if he signs your card, and all that stuff, fails to do anything that we ask him to do, and doesn't pay the taxes, we're still sitting there. We have no recourse.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Unfortunately, I can't remember when David and I started looking at this. It was just maybe last week or something when people started complaining about this particular one and the house that was burned that nobody's cleaned up. Unfortunately, it just landed in our office a little bit too little too late, right? So the
You know-
best case scenario is
The one that is
That's-
partially tore down, they're cleaning up, there was a case on that.
yeah.
Did y'all find that case?
Yeah, there was a case, but unfortunately, that case is irrelevant at this point because the taxes are now delinquent and it's with the state. There is no
Okay,
owner to
okay.
pursue.
He let it go. I was afraid
Yeah.
he was gonna do that. Because it's financially, it would be,
It's in their best interest financially not
Let
to
it
do
go.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's with the state, and so if somebody, at the auction does buy this property, just, in the event they do buy it, then we can start a new certified letter. We can serve them notice, the new owner, and we can start over with that burnout house. But until that happens, there's nothing we can do about that. And this property in question, the church, is about a month and a half away from being in that same scenario. So if we're going to do any action at all, it may not even be done, right? But if we want to attempt any action, we have to do it in March. Otherwise,
I think
it's
we
not-
have to, because
yeah.
we're showing,
So this will be on the March agenda, and my request at that point would be to give me an order to get this thing cleaned up. I'll get it on the second Tuesday agenda for county commission, and then we'll send it to the owner and see what happens. So that's all I have.
you don't have any others on your horizon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got two tables in my desk. One of them has at least two. There's one, unrelated to any of the agenda items here, 77 Marina Park.
I was getting ready to ask about Marina Park.
That one, Larry and I think, I have not had a chance to talk to the owner yet this morning. My plan is for us to have a conversation this afternoon, but Larry and I believe, have put together a path forward. Step number one, in order to avoid this going to the state, the owner has to pay the taxes on this property. There is not a scenario where the county will agree to clean this up and upfront that money if there's not an owner to fall back on to place a lien against the property, right? So if it goes to the state and there is no owner, then we really will have a difficult time and some issues placing a lien on the property. So step one is the owner has to pay the $23 in taxes to where it doesn't go delinquent. Step two, Larry has drafted a agreement form, essentially stating that the owners agree to have a lien placed on their property to cover the cost. So if the owner will pay the taxes and if the owner will sign this agreement, then I've talked to Jeremy. Jeremy is willing to spend the money to then clean that property up. We'll have to take bids to find a contractor, and go through that process, but we'll actually do the work.
Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the county would decide to put a lien on a piece of property, that lien isn't on a person, that's on that property. Am I correct by saying that? No matter who owns that, I mean, it could be 100 years from now, that lien is still on there. So the county can put a lien on a property no matter what.
The fire board has done that forever.
Right, you guys have done it. If you, whether it goes to the state or whatever, that lien goes to that parcel, correct?
Yeah.
It does. The problem with that one is, the current owner passed away. He has a brother. When their father passed away, he didn't have a will, it went by intestate succession to the two brothers. One of the brothers now died, he has two children that live out in Colorado. If they don't pay the taxes on it, my concern is, if they don't pay the taxes on it, us getting the lien on the property is going to take some period of time. Because we have to get the document, them agreeing to it, and then we're going to have to do a contractor, and that's going to have to be a bid process. They're going to have to clean it up before we're going to know how much the lien will be on the property. Then we've got to file suit against all the owners in circuit court to get an order that then can be put on file. And I don't know what the time frame for all that is. It is possible that that could be sold at a state auction prior to the lien ever being placed on the property. If that happens, the new owners would not take it subject to that lien because it wouldn't be on record. So that is my concern. That's the reason we're trying to get them to agree to pay the taxes now. And they're like $24 for the year. That way, I don't have to worry about 6 months or a year from now, the lien not being on the property when a new owner takes it. Because if the lien's not on there, they're not taking it subject to that lien.
Is that the mobile home at the corner?
The mobile home on the corner is 24 Marina Park. So no, that is not the one on the corner. 24 Marina Park is a problem. Unfortunately, it's a problem that we can't address because, again, I don't have an owner to notify. This is sitting with the state, and nobody sees it financially beneficial to buy a piece of property that's got an abandoned trailer on it to move it.
Which is the end goal of the county and of this board and everybody else, is to clean up property, correct? When you clean up property, you increase the value of the property, right? Whether it be in Marina Park or Red House or wherever, you increase that. Some of it, you're not going to increase property, you're going to increase the aesthetics of the county. That costs money. So at some point, the county, working through this board, should be or could be able to say, okay, we're going to clean this up at the dollar of the taxpayer, with hopes that we increase the value and somebody else comes along and buys it. Because like Marina Park, if we could go in there and take dozers and shove Marina Park somewhere else, the hospital would buy it. We all know this, you know? So there has to come a point where the county, the commission itself has to say, for the good of the county, for the financial good and the aesthetics of the county, we have to take action. That action is going to take money. Being the treasurer of the county, we have that money.
Here's my only thing, and this is a Larry thing too. I don't necessarily think it's a money issue, which the money, you can debate that. I think it's a who's the owner issue. Because, and this is the conversation I've had with Larry, I have no problem proceeding with 24 Marina Park Drive. But, you know, what happens if somebody has an ownership in it, right? And if we just show up and haul their trailer off without the owner knowing, that's a problem.
Well, sure.
And so I'm not able to serve anybody because I don't know who has ownership in it.
Marina Park being the example.
Yeah.
You can't steal people's property. Once it goes to tax, once it goes gone, and once there is no true owner other than it's not even us anymore, it's the state, then.
So what you're saying is once a property lands at the state, you think we should be justified in going in and cleaning it up without having a signature card back from an owner? Is that what you're saying?
We can't do that.
We can't?
We can't do that. The county commission can, because the
Yeah.
county commission makes the order, pays the bill, sends it out to bid, tear this residence down, increase the value, turn around and sell it. At that point, it can be sold to a viable customer, be it the county even, and then turn around and sell it. That's what the cities, that's what Nitro, Huntington, and Charleston are doing right now. Am I correct by saying that? And then they say, okay, we have property that's good. We don't have a piece of property that's a dilapidated structure. We've
Well,
torn it down.
They probably have someone on contract too, so the bidding process is something that happens ahead of time.
Yeah.
Contract is awarded, and that contractor will serve
I know
for whatever period of time.
most municipalities, if you're going to do cleanup, right, most of them have a code enforcement division.
Well,
And,
there we go. Guess who's been asked to run a code enforcement division?
And most of
Me,
them,
right, Larry?
those division heads will typically do, because there are certain spending thresholds that municipalities are required to put out to bid if you exceed those spending thresholds. So what they'll do is most of the time, they'll put out an annual bid. So in December of the prior year, typically it's the code enforcement department head has to put out a bid for demo services or cleanup services, and then that bid is good for the following calendar year. And if we're going to get in the business of doing 5, 10, 15, 20 of these a year for $100,000 budget, and we're going to spend through that budget, then that would be something that we would want to put out for like an annual bid, get a contract in place with a provider that could do these services. That way we wouldn't have to do it for every single bid.
Right.
Right? But the question would then become to Larry,
Discussion.
once a property's at the state, does the county commission have the right to go in and clean it up? With no service to an owner?
Well, we do a lot of work in Marina Park, and there are problems in that part of the community that,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I can get a green light, or if the county commission can get a green light, that says we are okay to proceed without a certified letter being signed off on. I mean, the house in Red House, for example, that's been burned, that's sitting with the state. We can take care of that. We can take care of 24 Marina Park. And if we have the budget to do these demos, I can tell you, staff in the planning office is more than willing to do the work and the paperwork and to walk it through the process, but we've not done that because we have not been able to certify an owner. But if it's sitting with the state and y'all are saying there's no owner to certify, and if y'all guys are wanting the county commission to take action, I will gladly put something on the county commission agenda and let them make a choice on it. But that would be at the advice of Larry. I don't want to put something on the agenda that we're going to be doing something
We're not,
illegal.
we're not at that point yet. We're not, nowhere close to that, at that point.
I think the closest thing we have at a county level to a condemnation process is the DAEA process. That's the absolute closest thing we have. Municipalities have a code enforcement officer or a chief building official, and that individual through a municipality can go out there and condemn a piece of property. They have an inspection that they do. And if you fail the inspection and if it's deemed structurally unsafe or a hazard to the public, then typically that chief building official, that whoever that is, that code enforcement officer, can condemn with city council approval that property. The county doesn't have a process like that. The closest thing we have is DAEA. So,
Make a motion, we close the meeting. Bring the meeting to a close.
Is there a second?
Second.
We adjourned.
Discussion off the record. I have been asking Larry.
hey, hold up.
Well, yeah,
Stop.
Stop it.
Stop our recording. I'm going to hit. Go in there and make sure you stop our